I want to welcome you today to Accelerated Leader with Dr. Fred Garmon. We've been having some tremendous conversations about how to hone our skills and be better leaders in ministry. We're going to talk about a big one today. Fred, I think it's probably the hottest topic out there right now, unprecedented change.
Thank you, Dr. Hill, and you are exactly right. In fact, it's been called the biggest leadership issue of our time, and that is unprecedented change. We all know the words of Jesus from Mark 18 concerning new wine being and needing new wineskins. And it was Jesus who was confronted in this passage about changing what was a long-standing tradition. John's disciples and the Pharisees' disciples are fasting, but yours are not. Change is a self-perplexing and persuasive problem in every one of us. But it seems to be an especially sensitive problem in ministry. In fact, it's now referred to as the biggest leadership issue that we're facing in the ministry. This episode, this passage from Mark 18 illustrates just how most practices are initiated to serve a purpose, at least initially, but over time, even the best practice can lose its usefulness, and it takes a wise leader with insight to know when to change something. Change moves us away from our comfort zones and away from what we like to refer to as normal. A recent headline from Gallup's research says, the COVID pandemic disrupted everything, and there's no going back to normal. We all saw signs of it. We were vaguely aware that normal was fragile, it was changing, but who in the world knew that the whole world would change overnight? The pandemic, the lockdown, political tension, cultural change created the perfect storm. And it impacted and it continues to transform the very nature of how we work, how we live, and how we all do ministry. Gallup's research experts refer to the speed and the rate of change and its attending consequences. I believe it's also the biggest ministry leadership issue of our time. Change is now an unstoppable force that is really altering everything in an exponential rate. DDI, research firm, and their leadership forecast survey advises if leaders want to survive this extinction level event, they must be willing to change, adapt, and learn new skills rapidly. The church is no exception for this wise counsel. The one skill we can all get better at is leading change. We now know how to get out ahead of change so that we don't get run over by it. But you'd better sharpen this saw quick, because at the present rate of change, you'll get run over by something before you even see it coming. The Church of God Administrators, Bishops, Training Manual sounds an alarm. One of the priority problems, it says, is the need for leadership development. And all segments are affected, including the church. It continues in the manual by saying the alternatives to this challenge leave us with little choice. Either we get busy with this all-important task, or we will all suffer grave consequences as a mediocre movement. The pandemic has caused an awakening that shocked the world. We all continue to be pushed out of our comfort zones. One thing we now know for sure, nothing is going back to normal.
Wow, Fred, my goodness. You know, one thing you said that caught my attention, nothing is going back to normal. Some valuable lessons Dr. Garmon has taught us today. Be back with us again for Accelerated Leader.